Hey, here we are. Ted, thank you for joining me today. You are being live streamed into the Dum Dum's Guide to eXp. It's
Fantastic.
near and dear to my heart. And the point of this group is just to help people navigate their way through eXp. You know, when I first started this group, we didn't have all the stuff we have now. It's helped people. So I'm just another supplement now to all the other great things we have. But we love our group. So I'm so glad you're here because you are going to help us understand more about some of our affiliate partners. You're the vice president of affiliate partners, and you started here as an agent like I did, right? When did you start with eXp?
I did, in the middle of 2017.
Yeah, okay. So you were a little bit before me because I was like towards the end, like more in August of 17. And then how did you come into this role? I'm curious.
Well, I've actually been in, various corporate positions throughout my career. And so I joined eXp not just as an agent, but as an agent because I love the company.
Right.
And really wanted to be, associated with the company. And then from there grew out, my revenue share group,
yep.
And also started a team here in the Tampa area.
Awesome.
But then, started chatting with Glenn a little bit one day and realized there was some help needed with affiliate services, and they asked if I could help with that.
That's awesome.
Most definitely.
That's great. Okay, good. Now, I was curious. I just wanted you to fill in the blanks for me there. I'm sure, like I put it together, this is probably something like that. So that's good. Thank you for that story. So we're going to be doing just little short series of all these different programs because they're new. Many of them are just new and being launched, and they're not even in every state yet. And so we're going to help agents understand them better and use them. So before we get into that, we're going to talk about Intralend primarily today. Keep it short and sweet. But before we get into that, as our intro, tell agents what is so important about the affiliated partners and agent use of them, basically, or relationship with them.
Sure. Well, before jumping into that, I just want to say thank you to you for starting this group, right? This has been fantastic. I've had a lot of people really tell me, how valuable this group has been to them. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And so, from the affiliate partner or preferred partner side, what we did when looking for partners was, number one, we wanted to find partners that were good for the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, then were they good for the agents? And then number three, was the value for the company. And so that was the approach that we took in looking at each partner.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we kind of pass along a little bit about each partner, I think you'll hear that about each of the different partners. From a company standpoint, the company typically earns a percentage out of each one of these relationships. Mm-hmm. And so as shareholders, that benefits all of us. If the company does better, in theory, the stock should be better.
Right. So that's reason number one.
Okay. That's reason number one.
Good. Okay, we'll just leave it at that because there's other reasons, obviously. So okay, let's go into Intralend. So when I first heard about Intralend, I believe it was at the last shareholders summit. I think it was like mentioned, but then they had a booth, and you could talk to them, a couple of the representatives there, just a little bit about what it was, and I think I heard it for 5 minutes, and it's a great concept. And now there's classes in the world, and we've launched, and we're not in every state yet. So what I'm curious about is just, first of all, what's the overview of it? What is Intralend?
Sure. So Intralend so we have 3 company-owned partners. Okay. So I'll start with that. Okay. Intralend, FirstCloud, Silverline Title, okay, and Express Offers are 3 of our partners that are actually owned by eXp World Holdings.
Awesome.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so in the case of Intralend, it is owned 50%. Intralend FirstCloud Investment Group is owned 50% by eXp World Holdings, and then 50% by agents that buy in to the investment.
Right.
So that is the structure of it. But kind of to the basics of it, there's 3 different ways that agents can utilize Intralend FirstCloud.
Okay.
The first is just as they do with any of their mortgage partners right now. They can download the Intralend app either on the Apple or Android store,
Okay.
and simply download the app.
Okay.
And anytime they have a client that they'd like to get pre-approved, they can just click Fast Track, and an Intralend mortgage loan originator will approve that client for them. So
Okay.
just as they would with any of their current mortgage relationships, an eXp agent can do that.
Okay.
So that's number 1. Number 2, if an eXp agent has a loan officer that they prefer working with currently, that loan officer can stay at their current company, so they don't have to change employment to Intralend. But in that case, then Intralend can switch to similar to a relationship that you would have if you go into an auto dealer finance department.
Yes.
So in that auto dealer finance department, they're not actually giving the loan. They take the loan application, get the client approved,
Right.
and then they send that package out to a different loan company. And Intralend can act in that capacity. If you have a loan officer that you like to work with, Intralend can do the front end work, take the application, get that client approved, and then send that package on to your preferred lender. So that's the second way. And then the third way that agents can work with Intralend is, again, on that investment standpoint. So if agents choose, and they can either do number 1 or number 2 without investing. So investing is not a requirement in any of this. But if an agent chooses to invest in Intralend, and they would then earn dividends on a quarterly basis from profits from that company, okay? And it's its own standalone investment group. And they can buy in, agents can buy in at a $500 level if they've been licensed for 18 months, a $2,500 level if they've been licensed for 3 years, a $5,000 level if they've been licensed for 5 years, and a $15,000 level if they are an SEC accredited investor and licensed for 7 years.
Okay.
And so, and then the dividends that are paid out in that proportion, right? So the person that bought in at $2,500 earns 5 times the dividends of the person that bought in at $500. And what if you achieve the time in the business, after you've invested in the first level, you can buy into the second level. So if you
upgrade,
you could upgrade, exactly. So if you bought in at $500 and then you hit the 3-year mark, you can put in another $2,000 to buy into the $2,500. So, again, there's just 3 simple ways for agents to utilize Intralend. It's a great company. All of our partners have been vetted. They're really striving to give white glove service to eXp agents and their clients. And so I would just ask everybody a personal ask right here. Give them a try. Try them once and see, if you like their service, and I think you will.
Okay, that's great. So now I have some more questions, but
Sure.
but for the sake of just making sure we get the nuts and bolts at beginning of this video that's being currently live streamed, and then we do have people commenting already. So, and I want to address that.
Oh, but fantastic.
Yes, we do have people commenting. But what I want to have you talk about is where we can get this education. So I think there's a group in Workplace, and there's also classes to learn about it in the world. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Thank you. Yep. Thank you for reminding me about that. I should have mentioned that. So there is, if you go into Workplace and type in Intralend into the search bar, there is a Workplace or a Workplace group for Intralend. So I encourage everybody to join that. And then in that Workplace group, they post the class schedule for all of the various Intralend classes. And so all of that information is there in that Workplace group.
Is there just one class? I think there's like an introduction to Intralend FirstCloud, and then there's also an application training. And
there's the introduction, and then there's an investment training. So if someone wants to invest, then they can take that training ahead of time.
If they want to learn about the buy-in and how this works, that's where they should go, to that investment class. Okay. Perfect.
And then there's also a new website that was just announced this morning, I think, or late last night, and that is exppreferredpartners.com.
I'm going to put it.
And so I would exppreferredpartners.com. I would encourage everyone to go to that as well. It provides information about all of our partners.
Okay. I don't think I spelled it right here. Okay. Preferredpartners.com. Hopefully that's it. Okay. Oh, it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just heard that on the leadership meeting today. They announced it. So exppreferredpartners.com, I put a link in there. So there's more information there, obviously. And this is is this an open website so anybody can look at it?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Let's address these questions really fast. I don't want to spend too much time on them because I do have other questions for you. But Cheryl Miller, who is my state broker in Michigan, she thanks you and says we are patiently waiting to launch in Michigan. Okay. And Becky Penartz, and I think I'm saying her, she said that you came into her team suite yesterday and talked to her group, and that and you're a great guy. And then Annette, she's asking, why are you limiting who can buy in? And I don't think you're limiting it, but can you address that? She's just so to correct that. She says, why are they limiting who can buy in? I don't know.
Sure. So we had to come up with some criteria for each level, and we can't base any criteria on production because that would be a RESPA violation. And so, we had our RESPA attorneys look at all this and make sure everything was set up properly. Okay. And again, it was just, we had to have some criteria for each level, and that's it.
So I've been licensed over 3 years, so I could qualify to buy in for $2,500 maximum. Correct. But I could do just $500 if I wanted to.
That's right.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Great. So then the other questions I want to ask. So when it comes to us telling other non-eXp agents who we're talking to about eXp and some of these preferred partners, what can we say that would be attractive to them or interesting to them when they're thinking about coming to eXp, and how these affiliated partners, especially Intralend in this case, could be of benefit to them? What's something we could tell them?
Sure. Well, when you think about other companies, right, what they tend to do is they'll form a relationship with a big bank, like Bank of America or Wells Fargo or something like that. And then they'll say to their agents, hey, you have to use our bank and our loan officers, right? Well, agents already have these relationships. And that's kind of my point number 2, right? Is if you have those relationships, you can keep those and introduce your preferred lenders into Introlend, and still have the company benefit then, which as shareholders, that's a good thing, but also still maintain that relationship with your current loan officer. So that's number 1. And number 2 is, it's a legal way, a RESPA compliant way for agents to earn additional revenue. So you buy in one time, you don't have to keep buying in every year. It's just a one-time buy-in, and you get quarterly dividends from then on. And so, it's another way for agents to earn revenue, and other companies aren't providing that either.
Right. So it's another stream of income. So
exactly.
That's great. Okay, perfect. I love it. Okay. So the other thing, and help me remember, and things might have changed, and I honestly have not been able to, since we talked last time, I'm like, I'm going to try to go to all these classes, and I'm trying to fit it in. And I'm going to, I promise. But I haven't made it through an entire Introlend class yet. But when I remember when I was talking with whoever was the rep in the booth at Shareholders last year, we were talking about like lead generation. Like you can get leads, buyer leads, or, from Introlend. So can you address that at all? Is that still a thing?
Well, so they have various apps that they offer, and one of them that is really neat is when you go on a listing appointment with their app, they can do, I call it predictive analytics, and I think that's what it actually is for that. But you can, when you go on a listing appointment, you can sit with their app, you can draw a circle within a certain radius of that property, and it will tell you who the most likely buyers are within a radius of that property for that property.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, and so, you know, based on how long the people have lived there, based on, you know, whatever the predictive analytics criteria is, right, of how long they've lived at the previous residence, you know, mortgage balances, things along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it makes it very easy to market to those people for your new listings. And so when you go on a listing appointment, you know, you can say to the seller, hey, I have this tool. Does anybody else have this tool that can actually predict who some of the buyers for this property might be?
Oh,
and so they have some pretty neat tech stuff. That's, you know, a lot of that's shared inside of the class.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so, you know, that they have various things there to help agents out most of.
So good. That makes me more excited, and hopefully everybody else more excited to, like, okay, when I go to the class, I'm going to make sure I pay attention and listen and and find out about that. Okay. The other thing, and we've talked about this before, but I just want to address it here. You know, many of us have relationships with lenders, with title companies, you know, especially those of us who are doing events and lunch and learns. You know, we've got our local people that invest in us by sponsoring our events. And so we don't want to, you know, focus our business on something else that could make them lose business. So help us, you know, wrap our minds around that, because I don't want to think small about this. I want to think big about it. So help me think big about this concept and how I can still, you know, have great relationships and show my vendors who sponsor my stuff, you know, how much I appreciate them. How can we work this out?
Well, specifically to Intralend,
Mm-hmm.
introduce them into the platform and get them to be a lender partner, because there's an advantage to them to join the platform, in that if there's other agents in your area that don't have a lender, that lender could then become their lender as well through the platform. And so they can actually increase their business by joining the platform.
Okay.
And they can still be your local, sponsoring your local events and that type of thing for you. They can still be your MLO through the Intralend platform, and then they can get more business through the platform from other agents that might be, other agents might be newer to the business and not have established relationships yet, things along those lines. And so that, you know, they could earn additional business there.
And how many lenders can we invite into this platform?
So we really encourage agents to, you know, invite 2 or 3 lenders into the platform, because what is nice is this platform creates a little bit of a marketplace where it provides to your clients not just one mortgage offer, but 2 or 3, so that they can say, all right, this is the best one. And what some of our other agents have found is they introduced their lender into the platform, and they found out their lender wasn't necessarily the most economical for their clients.
Right.
And so it you know, by having the platform in place, it offers, so that's, you know, when I talk about what's the benefit to the consumer, what's the benefit to the agent, what's the benefit to the company, the benefit for the consumer is they actually get 2 or 3 mortgage offers out of the platform and get to decide which one is the best offer.
Okay. Cool. That's good. And I know we talked about it before, you know, and you said it earlier in this talk, you know, you're asking us as agents, just, you know, 1 deal a month, or, you know, here and there, try it, see how it goes,
try it.
Enjoy
Please.
it,
Yeah.
Embrace it, work with it, give feedback.
Yeah, we're not asking for all your deals. We're not asking for all your deals. We understand there's relationships out there, but try it and see what, you know, and see how it works. And, you know, maybe it's 1 out of 5 deals that you give to the platform or whatever it might be, but just try it and see.
But I really love the concept, and I love the idea of it, and I'm excited and for us to get it in Michigan. And since we were talking, did you figure out how soon in Michigan? How many states is it in now, Intralend?
I believe we are in. I think we're in. You're putting me on the spot on that one. It changes all the time.
Okay.
Because basically what we're just waiting on is state licensing for each state. And so it really is about the licensing authority in each state and how fast they can get us up.
How about this? Give me a timeline. When do you expect it will be rolled out into all the states?
So we'll be rolled out to the top 20
Top 20.
I would guess, we call it the top 20 by the end of Q2.
Okay.
And then all 50 by the end of the year.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, that's good. Is there anything else? Because we'll keep it short and sweet like we talked about. Is there anything else about Introlend besides, okay, now make sure you go to the classes and, figure out when your state's going to open and get ready for it and talk to your lenders about it. Oh, one thing I do before I ask you that, I've seen a lot of questions. Is there any where for our lenders to learn about it, before they come into the platform? Do we just say, hey, you got to try this and invite them and have them do it so they can experience it? Or is there some sort of demo for our lenders?
There are videos that are shared in the platform, but then also Mike Tidwell is our representative for Intralend, from our partner, and he will talk to any loan officer directly for you.
Okay. Okay.
And all that information again is shared in class.
And in the partner hub in eXp World, do people from Introlend, do they man those offices? They
do. They have office hours in there, most definitely, and that's another great point. You bring up great points. The partner hub, all of the partners are in there, and so we encourage everybody to go there as well. Inside the world, you go to the go-to menu and click preferred partners, and then partner hub, and in there are all of the various partners. The representatives have offices in there, and agents can go in and talk live one-on-one with partners of all or representatives of all the partners.
And I did go into the open house the other day earlier this week, and I actually live streamed in there, and I was glad. I didn't get to talk to everybody, but I did. I can't remember his name now. The CE credits guy.
Yeah.
I was
CE shop.
Yeah, I was really glad to go in there because I learned, just like the huge discounts we can get, and how if there's a, NAR says, and we all this knows the statistics, or in eXp, that 85% of the agents who are going to be in business in 5 years aren't even licensed yet. And where are they going to come? Well, they're going to come to eXp. So what's great about that is if we are wanting to introduce eXp to somebody who's not licensed yet, we can also pass on the discount that eXp. That was cool. So anyway, the open house is cool, and I'm glad you guys are doing that. Keep doing that for a little bit as we get used to this idea. So, but anyway, okay. Anything else that you want to say about Intralend before we end?
No, I think this has been great. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay, well, good. Well, next time I want to talk about Silverline Title, because that is open in Michigan. And so next time we'll do that. So a time next week we'll do this again, okay?
Happy to do it whenever you're available.
All right. Thank you so much, Ted. Have a great day.
Thanks. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.